Ladies and gentlemen, live from IDCC Shah Alam, the grand finale of Invoke Malaysia fundraising dinner. Your host for tonight, Fendi Hasmi and Midi Rahim.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Invoke Malaysia fundraising dinner, the grand finale 2018. Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan sekalian, apa khabar semua? Di sebelah kanan saya, apa khabar? Di sebelah kiri saya, apa khabar?
We would like to take this opportunity to thank every and each donors, volunteers and supporters who are loyal and continuously support us for the past 2 years. Tonight is an important night as we set our eyes to the conclusion to the most important political journey of Malaysia, the battle for Putrajaya.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we speak, there are 24 days left before the polling day on the May 9. Since we set up Invoke Malaysia 2 years ago, we have visited every state from north to south of Malaysia, and we are so glad to be joined by thousands of volunteers who extended their hand to join our fight to defeat Najib Razak and Barisan Nasional in the next general election. Ladies and gentlemen, there are 2,000 people tonight, 200 tables sold out. Thank you so much for your support. Speaking of volunteers, as I said just now, sukarelawan-sukarelawan kita disertai oleh pelbagai bangsa, agama dan umur. Ada yang paling muda, ada juga yang tak berapa nak muda, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan. Tua lah kalau tak berapa nak muda itu, tua tapi bertenaga. Dan sepanjang kita menjelajah Malaysia, menerusi jelajah Invoke Bina Semula Negara, saya ingin memberikan penghargaan istimewa, a special shout out to a few individuals who have been so faithful, dedicated their time and energy to support Invoke Malaysia. Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, kita telah melancarkan jelajah Bina Semula Negara. Kita mengelilingi daripada utara sehingga ke selatan dengan YB Rafizi mengetuai traknya. Dan kita berasa begitu berbangga dan bersyukur kerana kita ada begitu ramai selfless individuals yang ikut sekali tour untuk menyertai YB Rafizi. Kalau saya boleh memberikan penghargaan, kalau kita boleh letak gambar mereka di skrin. Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, please give a round of applause to Dato Yeop Azlan. Dato Yeop, can you please stand? Dato Yeop, please. Kita ada Abang Rusli. Abang Rusli. Kita juga ada Uncle So yang selalu baca puisi on the stage. Uncle So ada tak? Oh, tak ada. Yes, please.
Please ikut saya. Pakatan Harapan. I sebut Pakatan, you cakap. I cakap Bina Semula, you cakap negara. Okey, Pakatan. 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 Bina Semula. Bina Semula.
Negara.
Bina Semula.
Negara.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay, thank you Abang Rusli. Dia curi skrip saya hari ini. Saya nak cakap dulu sebenarnya, dia dah sebut. Untuk pengetahuan semua, Datuk Yeop, ada Abang Saidi juga. Kita berikan tepukan gemuruh kepada Abang Saidi. Saya bagi special dedication to the team sebab Abang Saidi ni dia bawa kereta. Datuk Yeop bagi ceramah. Abang Rusli dia akan keliling satu kampung, inform the incoming events of Invoke Malaysia in every stage. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm very sorry but I have to say this, he's a stage 4 cancer, ladies and gentlemen, Abang Rusli kita, a cancer survivor.
Baik, the 30,000 strong Invoke Malaysia volunteers, as mentioned by Fendi just now, are made up from a diverse group of people. Tidak mengira bangsa, agama, jantina, umur serta taraf sosioekonomi, rakyat Malaysia telah menyahut seruan kami untuk turut bersama dalam projek Bina Semula Negara. what is interesting, Effendi, we are also able to recruit what potentially to be the youngest volunteers in the history of politics. Kalau boleh tunjukkan gambar beliau.
Our youngest volunteer. If you can pay your attention to the screen.
Ladies and gentlemen, itulah Benjamin bin Mohamad Rafizi, iaitu anak to our hero Rafizi Ramli.
He's the youngest volunteer, 4 tahun, ikut ayah dia keliling Malaysia. Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan sekalian, since we launched Invoke Malaysia 2 years ago, the team has embarked to tour the whole country. They have covered the states like Johor, Melaka, Negeri Sembilan, Selangor, Kuala Lumpur, Penang, Perak, Kedah and Perlis.
And they also went to Pahang, Terengganu, Kelantan and returned all the way again to Johor, to Melaka, Negeri Sembilan, Kuala Lumpur, Selangor, Perak, Penang, Kedah and Perlis. The team has visited all of these locations with a very specific strategy in mind, to wrestle all of the marginal seats, the seats like Balik Pulau, Kulim, Setiawangsa and Johor Bahru, to make sure that we finally claim the key to Putrajaya.
Baiklah tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, tanpa melengahkan masa, sebelum kita memulakan majlis makan malam kita, saya nak dengar sikit teriakan semangat daripada semua rakyat Malaysia. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for change? Are you ready for a new government? Are you ready for Pakatan Harapan?
Baik, to kick off, saya nak bermula dengan memberi perbahagian untuk invite the first speaker of the house. Tak perlu diperkenalkan lagi, beliau telah memenangi kerusi Kelana Jaya di percubaan pertama pada tahun 2013 dan sekarang ini cuba mempertahankan kerusi beliau. Let us join me welcoming YB Wong Chen.
Thank you ladies and gentlemen. This is really great. This feels like a wedding tonight. I don't know who's getting married. It's not me lah. That's my wife will be having some issue with me. This is the wedding to remove Najib and Rosmah from power. Correct? I want to say we started this 2 years ago when the American guy came to my office and asked and offered his service to help us to build a data analytics campaign. Rafizi and I, we joined the party about the same time. He joined a bit earlier. I joined in 2009. And we saw how the party struggled with, basic things like organization, trying to get new ideas in. And it's difficult because parties are structured which are difficult. So we have this idea that we should bring in corporate management techniques, using data, using analytics, using all the skills that are available on advertising techniques, so on and so forth, and try to build something. And it was a difficult way. It started with Rafizi pouring in his own money, investing up to 800,000 of his own money. Yeah? And then you guys, all of you responded. You gave us the full support. You donated. People donated $5, $20. Some of you donate up to 50,000. I think that's the single biggest donor is 50,000. But the bulk of you guys, you gave us the $200-300 that we needed. And then somewhere in between, we had all these problems about getting more money. We were spending about 100,000 a month. We got 50 staff. Then it grew and grew, and then we had 120 staff. We were spending 400,000 a month. Every single month, we worry about paying the next month. This was a real struggle. I remember writing a very small, short WhatsApp. I asked people to donate $20. It went around and around and around. I heard it went up to 100,000, 200,000 people forwarding this. And as a result, we received, at the very, very bottom period of our life, 600,000 from all of you on the WhatsApp. So thank you very much. That $600,000 told us that we are doing the right thing. We're on the right path. That we need science to defeat the evil Barisan Nasional. that we need all the skills we need. Yeah? And still, until 2 months ago, Rafizi and I talked about where we're going to get the next paycheck. How do we explain to all these Oxford-trained, UCLA, Berkeley students, Melbourne University, local graduates? How do we explain to them we cannot pay them? And then suddenly, the date for nomination announced, then you guys responded again and you poured in money for us to last another 3 months. So congratulations, everybody. I'll tell you a funny story. As you know, I hope that I get to stand again in Subang Jaya and Kinrara. The new place is called Subang. Yeah? I haven't started my fundraising yet, even though some of my friends did give me some money. Yeah? I will only start my own personal fundraising when I'm nominated. I think that's only fair. Yeah? But I went to see a doctor 2 days ago. I went to an acupuncturist. I have to fix my hand and fix my back before this 11 day of grueling, very grueling campaign period. I go to the acupuncturist. I met 2 persons there. Then they say, hey, you're Wong Chen. Yeah, I'm okay. So one of them I know quite well. The other one, the lady, I have no idea who she is. She turned around and said, hey, can I give you 10,000 ringgit? Okay. I went to the acupuncturist. I came back with $12,000. And that is the mood of the public today. You guys are our main sponsors, your main donors, because you believe we run a transparent, clean, effective, modern campaign machinery to defeat Barisan Nasional. I want you to go out there and do a bit more. I want all of you to be pachas also. We need to defeat the government through the pacha system. We need basically close to 26,000 pachas for all the marginal seats. For the first time, the opposition is properly aligned in the sense that in those areas we cannot win, we shouldn't concentrate. In the old days, in 2013, every seat get allocation, whether we can win or cannot win. Today, we can't do that. Today, we use modern technology and understanding on data to drive home the fact that we only fight marginal seats because only through marginal seats can we topple this evil Barisan Nasional. So help me, help yourself, get your pacha out, get your friends to become pacha, let's mobilize and get all the marginal seats back. And I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to hit 112 in Peninsula alone. Okay? Once we hit 112, we can form government. We will invite our friends from Sabah, Sarawak to stabilize a government with 150 majority. For this kind of thing, we have to appreciate our partners. We have to acknowledge Dr. Mahathir's crucial role in all this. His role is to bring about the civil service to give us a chance with the civil service vote. And I believe I meet a lot of doctors, a lot of policemen, they tell me, brother, now it's 50-50, civil service is not with the government anymore. And this we have to thank Dr. Mahathir for his efforts. And I want you to bring a few very simple messages, because I want you to be ambassadors for us, not just give us money, not just becoming a pacha. Find anybody who still have doubt, who still haven't fully committed to us, just tell them one very simple message. They are all economic voters. They don't really care who am I, what does Dr. Mahathir going to do, what kind of policy we want to do. They don't really care. They just care about the economic situation, which means they're worried about their wages, their pocket, and the cost of things. Tell them a very, very simple message. Under Najib, for the last 8-9 years, under his economic management, this country is heading towards bankruptcy. That is absolutely clear. His system is completely unsustainable. So what is the alternative? The alternative, ladies and gentlemen, is a simple message. On one hand, Dato Sri Anuar Ibrahim. On the other hand, Tun Dr. Mahathir. Between the both of them, they ran this country from 1992 to to 1997, the greatest ever economic achievement for Malaysia. So if they say we cannot run, you just tell them, look at the track record. 92 to 97, we brought the country to pride, international stage. We can make Malaysia great again. We can rebuild Malaysia. You tell them a simple message like this, it is clear. It is clear that if they are economic voters, they can see the light that the combination between these two great leaders will bring our country to a further stage. In preparation for our younger heroes to take over like Rafizi Ramli, Nurul, Izzah, Tony Pua, Hannah Yeop, that is really what we're fighting for. Now, one last message to all of you, okay? Invoke does the number crunching. We do not sugarcoat the report. We tell you as it is. The numbers are clear that UMNO Malay support level has been dwindling for the last 3 years. When we started, we know they were dropping from 55% in 2013. They have started to drop to about 50%. When we start to survey them, we see a constant drop up to a point of 28% of Malay only supporting UMNO. Today, let's be fair to UMNO, Barisan Nasional, we have seen some numbers start to climb. When they give taxi drivers $800, when a crown prince in the state down south decide to give $1 million spending, this kind of thing has some impact, we understand. But those numbers are not 55%, ladies and gentlemen. This is not 2013 anymore. That number at best is only 40%. At 40% Malay support, UMNO is done for. However they want to gerrymander the thing, however they want to cut and slice all the seats, however they want to do it like a Wednesday election, the impact is not there anymore because the Malay support is 40%. Unless outright cheating, which we are going to counter now with Pacha, they can't cheat even. If we have a Pacha in every saluran, guarding 700 seats per person, there's no way they can cheat. So for the first time, they have lost the momentum. And then the second thing, we have built capacity to stop their cheating. That is why I'm absolutely confident that come 9th of May, come 9th of May, is going to be the new Independence Day for Malaysia. And that is the day we're going to roll out the red carpet and ask Najib and Rosma to take a plane ride and go to Mongolia. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I really have to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I know the staff, the team, the volunteers from Invoke, they have worked so long and so hard. So many people came in and left. Those who struggle, there are so many heroes. All these young, bright people who have sacrificed 1 year, 6 months, 2 years of their life to build this country, to give us a chance, a shot at becoming government in Putrajaya. And that, ladies and gentlemen, I will promise you, at least from my generation of leaders, people below 50 years old, that's us, below 50 years old, we promise you, when we bring Putrajaya, we will insist that the real reforms, systemic reform of this country be carried out. There must be clear reforms to fight corruption. There must be clear reforms on fiscal discipline. There must be a united foreign policy that we can have, even with a Barisan UMNO on the other side. It must be united. We must not sell our country. The basic things like this. We must honor hard work. We must have a merit-based system. And yet, we must also have a system that helps positive discrimination. Ladies and gentlemen, today here you see Malay, Chinese, Indian. You are part of Malaysia. We have a vision for Malaysia. We have a clear goal to reach. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what we're going to do. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for all your support to make this vision come true. On the 9th of May, we will have a new Malaysia. Lawan tetap. Lawan sampai. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to YB Wong Chen. Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan sekalian, ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker has a quite interesting background actually. He is not a politician. He is actually a retired civil servant. In other words, government pensioner. But this is not your ordinary government pensioner. He is a Malaysia former ambassador of Malaysia to Mexico and Spanyol. Dato Azlan, please remain seated first. We have prepared a special video for you. Ladies and gentlemen, we direct your attention to the screen.
I was impressed with Invoke. I had heard and observed Rafizi Ramli traveling with his lorry all over the country, meeting with the people extensively, and I thought this is the best way. If I could get myself to join him in his mission, I could be of some assistance to give ceramah to the people and so on, and to explain the situation. I also was very, very impressed with what I learned about Invoke, using a very, very scientific method, having a team of people, statisticians and analysts who are good with figures and so on, to do surveys and to have people to telephone the fence sitters and so on. In other words, a whole scientific system of approaching elections, national elections, a system that we know is being used in America and Europe and so on. It's the first time I've ever heard that this system is being used in this country. It's very, very impressive. It should be very effective and it should be very exciting to be a part of. And this is why I'm with Invoke.
Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan sekalian, dengan penuh rasa bangga, saya persilakan yang berbahagia bekas Duta Besar Malaysia ke Mexico dan Spanyol, Dato Yeop Azlan bin Cik Ros.
Thank you, Ketua Majlis yang berhormat, yang berbahagia, Sdr Rafizi Ramli, pasukan Invoke, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan sekalian yang saya hormati, saya hargai, salam mesra, salam sejahtera. Well, can we really look forward to a new government, to a new dawn after 60 years of rule by UMNO and Barisan Nasional. I have waited a long time for this. Let's hope, and these are very, very exciting times indeed, yes. But in the meantime, I've always said at my ceramahs, what can we do? We can only lament as to what should have been, could have been, would have been. Malaysia had so much promise at independence, but we've messed it up, yes? A small country of only 10 million people, 30 million people today. 30 million is equal to the number of people in Jakarta, as I always say. One city, Jakarta, 30 million. Mexico City is 30 million. One city. Our whole country is 30 million. So much resources, what we could have done with it. Tin, rubber, timber, oil, gas, palm oil. If you had looked after your resources well, used it for the benefit of the people, it would have been so easy to cater to 30 million people and provide with them. Tak kira Melayu, Cina, India, Karazan, Sarawak. Room for everybody, yes. Look at what happened to Singapore. In 20 years, they've joined the ranks of the first world developed country. In 20 years, you couldn't do it in 60 years. Bloody useless. Yes, you kicked out Singapore in 1965. Susah. UMNO was shouting, ketuanan Melayu, kesejahteraan Melayu. Pembangunan untuk Melayu. You want to do it yourself? All right, go ahead and do it. What did you do? You couldn't do it. Tak boleh buat. Yes, and Singapore did it in 20 years. Did they have tin, rubber, timber, oil, gas, palm oil? Nothing. They had only this. And they had something else, which was the thrust, the backbone of their government is anti-corruption. Hapuskan corruption. Hapuskan corruption. Yes. And so did China. 1.5 billion people to look after. They could do it. Kasih makan, bikin rumah, bikin hospital, bikin sekolah, implement the laws and so on for 1.5 billion people. It's pening kepala, yes? They could do it in 30 years. The fastest growth of any country from a third world to a first world country, the second most powerful economic power in the world in just 30 years. After Deng Xiaoping's socialism with Chinese characteristics, it can be done, yes. Indonesia, look, for so long, famous for its corruption, endemic. Under President Jokowi, hardly one term is over. What he has done, cramped down on corruption. And now the statistics show, the surveys done show, the forecast is that by 2030, Indonesia will be one of the top 10 economic powers in the world. Look at that. So there you are. We could only lament in horror as to what has happened to our country. So our quest now is to take it back, yes? Corruption, so endemic. I'm in this to vindicate my late father. I have to explain this to you. My late father was acting Sekjen of UMNO together with the Tengku, those times. Acting Sekjen of UMNO Malaya. He quarreled with the Tengku. At that time, there was a case of Menteri Besar taking money from timber concessions and so on. He quarreled with Tengku and argued that Tengku, you must not close your eyes to corruption. You must start from now, from Merdeka itself. If not, this business of corruption will be endemic. You won't be able to control it. UMNO will be finished. Everybody who will join UMNO will want to enrich themselves. The country will be ruined. Tengku turned a blind eye to it. He resigned. He resigned in 1959, yes. 2 years after Merdeka. Tun Abdul Razak, the deputy, sent a delegation to Ipoh to persuade Cik Ros not to resign. But he said, no, if you do not do this from the very beginning, our quest after independence will be ruined. You will forget the promises you made to the people to develop the country, to help the people and so on. UMNO will be taken by those pemimpin who hold posts to enrich themselves. And he was so right. I'm telling you this story to tell you it began right from there until now. If in those days you took 50,000 was considered horrible, look at what's happened today. 250 million lembu gondo, nothing happens. In fact, Rafizi Ramli has been slammed with a jail term of 30 bulan, and nothing happens to Syariat. And look at it, 2.6 billion into the personal account of the Prime Minister. Nothing happens. That's where we have been. And the country today is what? Utang approaching 1 trillion. We're paying 30 billion a year on bunga alone. What is there left? There's no other choice that we have, i.e., number one, we will go the long road of suffering for the people to overcome this. We will have to go the same road as Greece, Venezuela, Argentina, unfortunately. But at least we are giving ourselves the chance through Pakatan Harapan, through what you are doing with us together today, to take over the country and save it for ourselves. This is what this is about. We used to nod our head and looking at some of the African countries after their independence in the 50s, yes? Shake our heads and think, what has happened to those countries? Nigeria, Kenya, Zimbabwe, yes, South Africa, corruption. Eh? You can name the people there. Charles Taylor of Liberia, Babangida of Nigeria, Daniel Arap Moi of Kenya, Hufwe Bwani of Ivory Coast, Robert Mugabe in Zimbabwe, Jacob Zuma, and the other side, Lopez Portillo of Mexico, Evita, Juan de Bengo Peron of Argentina. You can name them. We used to shake our heads and think, apa sudah jadi to those countries. Hopefully, we are not like that. Thank goodness. And yet, today, look what has happened. We have become the champion of champions, even bigger than those characters now. Robert Mugabe is now turning around and saying, what has happened to our friends Malaysia? Oh, they have done better than us. Yes, the greatest kleptocracy in the latest history of mankind. Can you beat that? It's like winning the Oscar. The Oscar for the best kleptocrat goes to, jointly, to Najib and Rosmah from Malaysia. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We have many people to thank for this success. First of all, we must thank the people of Malaysia. Secondly, we must thank 1MDB. And third, we must thank GST, without which we couldn't do it. We couldn't succeed to win this Oscar. We'll try to increase the GST by 10% next year, do it again, and come back next year and win the Oscar again. Thank you. Tuan-tuan dan puan sekalian, I was asked to say a few words as to why am I in Invoke. Well, I'm a member of DAP, honorary member. I offered myself to do something in the run-up to PRU 14. They didn't beckon. That's okay. They have no use for this ex-ambassador. I had to do something to my part in the PRU. I had read and heard Rafizi explaining what Invoke does. He has a team of very young people, experts in their field, doing figures and doing charts and comparisons and I can't even name the term they do, but you know what I mean. They do statistics. And this is a very exciting way of running elections. Apparently, this is the way it's done abroad with figures. And they target fence-sitters. You no longer try to win those who support the Democrats on one side or those who support the Republicans on one side to come over to you. You target the fence-sitters. Elections are won by the fence-sitters. And this is what is done here. And so I approached him. We are Malay College alumni. It was easy to approach. I saw him in court before he appeared before the judge. We had a very personal, long, private conversation. And I told him, well, I could join you on your lorry traversing the country to give ceramah and so on, you know. So I said, well, I could do something there. And I said, if anything, I do have a message to the people in the kampungs and so on. I said, whenever you talk about corruption to the people in the kampungs, it doesn't register to them. You know, they can't count beyond 1,000. 1 million is just too much. 100 million, 2 billion, can't figure it out. In any case, they think, well, it's the norm. These politicians, this is what they do. And they sort of half accept it. So I said, they do not have enough outrage on corruption. What I think I have tried to do and found effective was to tell them, do you realize this is done by those people in UMNO who call themselves Muslims, who pray every day, who congregate every Friday, fill up the mosque to pray, bow down, prostrate before the Almighty every day, and what do they say? Please show me the straight path. Show me the straight path. Show me the straight path. Pretending not to know that you're taking people's poor money from the poor, taking tabung haji money is not evil and wrong. And you followers who give support to these kind of people who are in contempt of the Almighty, you yourself become hopeless. And this seems to hit them. And I found this along the road. Yes, it had that salutary effect. But the other thing I wanted to say was this. In following Rafizi's lorry all over the country giving ceramah, I also observed what he was doing at close quarters. And I can report to you that, what did I see? I really see an amazing human being doing this selfless job, a great sacrifice. Great sacrifice to himself, to his family and young son. Punishing schedule that he keeps every day, every 6 ceramah per day. Can you beat that? 6 ceramah. At the end of the day, as he is just now lost his voice to say anything at all. And yet he attends Pakatan leaders meetings over seat allocations and candidates list, logos and what have you. And he checks on his team in the office on who's crunching figures to see if there are any new trends, any developments happening. It's fantastic, really. Yes. I know he's the kind of person who's loath to hearing songs of praise like this heaped onto himself. But this is perhaps the last of such meetings we have together in Yeop, yes? And I might as well take this opportunity to ask you to join me to say thank you to him, his wife, and his son for their sacrifice. Thank you. I have it on record, he tells me, that in case Pakatan Harapan wins and forms the next government, there will be a role for Invoke. Yes, it could be a tool to help government to do surveys and to do figures, to see trends and what have you. That will be good news. But first, of course, we have got to win it. And I have news for you. We are going to win it. I'm looking forward to see Shakespeare's Richard III, Act 5, Scene 4 being played out. You know that scene? You remember that scene? King Richard, the evil tyrant, has fallen on his horse. His horse is dead. He's trying to escape. He has to look for another horse. He has to beg for a horse. He has to bribe for a horse. A horse, my kingdom for a horse. You know that one. Well, yes. Now you know who's begging to escape. MO1. Yes. Bribing his way. Naik pangkat, naik gaji, naik allowance for police, rela, bomba, civil servants. Brim, you want brim for a horse? I'm waiting for that scene to be enacted. Yes. A horse, my kingdom for a horse. How about Rosma? No, not that horse. She is the cause of all this. You can keep her. We keep her? You want these people here to keep her? No way. Lawan tetap. Thank you very much. We have some way to go, yes. As was explained earlier on, the last defense we've got is the Pachas, how important it is. From what I understand, from what we see, I think we've won the debate, yes. But now it is up to the Pachas. There'll be massive cheating, yes. We know Najib will resort to all the cheating he can do to win. We have to depend on the Pachas. And I'll join in the call again. Do get your friends, do get everybody to come and be the Pachas as our last line of defense. And then I hope to see you again on the 10th of May when we welcome a new day, a new dawn. And last, one other offshoot of what Invoke has done, I have observed, is this. Wherever he goes, I see the people. I see their admiration for him, for what he's doing. I see the gratitude on their faces. I see their plea to have a hope. Yes. Then, when he comes, they mob him. Before he leaves, they mob him again to take photographs, endless selfies. And this is what I wanted to say. That the corollary effect of what Rafizi Ramli and Invoke has done has been to bring us all together as one. Tak kira lah Melayu, Cina, India, we are all one rakyat and one bangsa Malaysia. This is something very precious we have to keep as we go further from here and so on. Yes, and with that, I say thank you to you. And once again, I hope to see you on the 10th of May, sometime, when we welcome a new dawn and a new day for the country, inshallah. Thank you very much, and good night.
Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, tepukan gemuruh sekali lagi untuk Dato' Yeop Azlan.
Assalamualaikum, salam sejahtera, salam. Assalamualaikum, salam sejahtera, salam harapan. I am Dr. Wan Azizah Wan Ismail, President of Parti Keadilan Rakyat and President of Pakatan Harapan. I would like to urge you, regardless of race, age and gender, to come together and strive to be part of this democratization project, beginning with the 14th general elections. This reformasi is not just about Anwar Ibrahim, Wan Azizah or keadilan or the opposition. But it is about the fight to escape the clutches of a corrupt government. Reformasi is about the struggle to put an end to the suffering of the rakyat under the kleptocrat that currently sits in Putrajaya. So, how do we, as rakyat, contribute? We invite you to volunteer as a polling agent and a counting agent on polling day. Pacha is responsible in observing the voting process and objecting in the polling station if cheating were to occur. And why is Pacha so important? Pachas are important because they represent the candidate in each polling station. If Pachas were not around, it is as if we depend on SPR to decide what the outcome would be. Without any check and balance between SPR and the Pachas, we can lose our votes just like that. We need 20,000 volunteers across 40 marginal seats. Currently, we have 4,000 trained Pacha volunteers that have been trained at least once. We are running out of time. So what should you do now? Register as Pacha at bit.ly/join Invoke. Click attending and come to a Pacha training near you. You will get a nomination letter by Invoke afterwards, letting you know which marginal seat you will be assigned to. Become the change this country needs right now. Change is possible with every bit of your help. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the next agenda will be a Q&A session. And for that, I would like to invite our panelists, which are YB Rafizi Ramli and YB Wong Chen. Baik, untuk sesi ini kami telah mengutip soalan-soalan yang telah diberikan kepada semua hadirin sekalian dan kami cuba untuk identify the common theme for all the questions as we mentioned dan kami telah berjaya melihat ada 4 tema dan soalan kami akan berkisar mengenai tema ini. So kalau ada meja lagi yang would like to ask questions, so feel free to maybe ask one of our Invoke yang members yang you can see around, so you just pass it to them and they will give it to us. Kalau we got time, we're gonna ask it in this session as well. Kalau tak, we then invite Rafizi to answer it during his speech later part of the night. Alright? Okay, the first question, the most popular tema will be on the issue of turnout. So we all know that the SPR has already announced that the date of the election will be held in the middle of the week, 9th May of 2018. So the question is very specific on Invoke projection. So the projection that has been made in on the end of March project that Pakatan Harapan will win 89 seats in Semenanjung, Malaysia. Will the lower turnout rate, like say for example 65 to 70, will change the numbers slightly different? Maybe we'll start with YB Rafizi.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi and good evening. I have a problem with my voice, so you have to strain your ears, your ears a bit. Rosma must be laughing. On the issue of turnout, the turnout that we use in all our simulations and predictions so far was based on the average turnout that we get from all the surveys. Because the first question we asked over the last 18 months was, if there is an election tomorrow, are you going to turn out to vote? Over the last 18 months, the rate has been very high. It's between 79 to 83%. So to your question, whether a change to Wednesday will have an impact, it certainly will have an impact on the turnout. In terms of how it will change the result, it actually depends on state by state. Because the turnout is most sensitive in states whereby UMNO's Malay votes exceed Pakatan's Malay votes, because then we will have to depend on the non-Malay turnouts to balance the votes. We have 4 tiers of states. We have the first tier of states where the Malay votes in these states for Pakatan already exceed Barisan Nasionals. Those states are Selangor, Wilayah and Kedah. So in our assessment, although we don't actually have a precise prediction what would be the likely turnout, based on the simulations, because the Malay votes in these 3 states already exceed BN's Malay votes, even with a lower turnout, it will hardly change the result. So you are looking at about 20 parliamentary seats in Selangor quite intact, about 9 parliamentary seats in Wilayah quite intact, about 13 parliamentary seats in Kedah quite intact. The second categories and the third categories are where the turnout will have a great impact on the results. The second categories are states where UMNO is neck and neck with Pakatan in terms of Malay votes, or UMNO is only leading by about 2 to 3%. These states are Johor, Penang and Perlis. In Johor, Penang and Perlis, a drop of turnout, especially the non-Malay turnouts, can actually alter the results quite significantly, especially in Johor, because we have about 15 very marginal parliamentary seats in Johor. Our simulations shows that a drop from 80 to 75 will drastically change the results in Johor. So it is going to be very crucial in Johor to get as many Malaysians who work in Singapore to come back. And I think that's the reason why they chose Wednesday, because they know that the battleground will be Johor, and Johor is the most acute in terms of sensitivity to turnout. It is less sensitive in Penang, because Penang is all about how many extra Malay majority seats that we can win, because majority of the parliamentary and Don seats in Penang are actually non-Malays. So less sensitive, but it will affect about 2 or 3 parliamentary seats with a change in turnout. And we will not be able to win Kanga in Perlis unless we have about 80% and above turnout. So that's second tier. The third tier is even worse for Pakatan, and this is where I think people expect to see a lot of changes. The third tier states are states where Pakatan Harapan is lagging between 5 to 10% Malay votes behind UMNO. And these are Perak, Negeri Sembilan and Melaka. All the 3 states are states where Pakatan can actually take over the state government, given we win another 4 or 5 Don seats. With a decreased turnout, especially below 75, we will miss taking over Perak, Selangor and Perak, Negeri Sembilan and Melaka. And the last tier are the East Coast tier, the Kelantan, Terengganu and Pahang, where BN is leading above 10%, and Pakatan and PAS votes are neck and neck. So that gives BN quite comfort in terms of lead. And therefore, and on top of that, there's not much non-Malay voters in those states, Kelantan, Terengganu. Therefore, Kelantan and Terengganu's results are not as sensitive to turnout as compared to the other states. So, Johor, Perak, Negeri Sembilan and Melaka are the states where the results can be drastically different, with a drop of 5% turnout in the next general election. So Invoke is going to launch a website, pairing website next week, most probably Tuesday or Wednesday, where we will pull all the big data and try to get as many voters as possible to express their intention to vote by checking where they are going to vote. But we will also ask them, are you going to come back by driving? Do you need a transport? Is there empty slots in your car? Do you need a bus? Do you mind traveling with other people? We hope as many voters will fill this in and give it a big support, because then we will be able to match. Well, it's a very conservative carpooling type of thing. We will be able to match those who are driving alone with those who need a right to go back to vote. And hopefully, those people we will persuade to become pacha as well. So all is not lost, is not as bad as what BN made it out to be, but it is also quite sensitive, especially in the key battleground states like Johor, Perak, Melaka and Negeri Sembilan. Thank you.
Bobby Wong Chen, you want to add?
Okay. I mean, Rafizi has basically given an answer to most of your main concern. I'll just like to add 1 or 2 points. The first thing is the numbers itself. We have about 14.8 million voters in this coming general election. So if we round it up, it's about 15 million. Yeah? The migration caused by a Wednesday vote that required to be done and affected is close to 1 million. So in that terms, it translates to about 6%. If we have an average turnout of 82%, yeah, and that's quite high, right? Not as high as the 85% for the last general election. If 82%, then we see a 6% reduction. We could come down to 76%. That is not a fatal number for us. A fatal number for us is 72 and below. So overall, we're okay. As Rafizi said, challenges are going to increase, of course. It just means that we have to work harder in those 3 states where it is badly affected. Now, this is another key point that I want to raise. I'm actually Oi Klate lah, I'm Kelantanese. You know, theoretically lah, half Kelantanese. I was born in Selangor, but was raised in Kelantan since the age of 1. This migration matter actually affects Kelantan drastically, but it doesn't affect our chances. It is going to smash past to smithereen. This is the funny thing that we see today. I can see some anti-pass people down there. I think we have to send a message to our opposition brothers in PAS and tell them, please stop working hand in hand with UMNO, because this Wednesday election is going to hurt them the most. It won't hurt us so much. Kelantan has 1.2 million adult voters on average, and we know Kelantan is a migration state, migrant workforce state. 500,000 Kelantanese are outside of Kelantan itself. Those that have to go back and vote are now affected and they can't go back and vote. Susah lah. Jadi kalau Kelantan ni susah nak balik. Yeah? So this is going to affect them badly. So I think the message we have to send down is tell the PAS voters, the non-hardcore PAS voters, please wake up and smell the roses. Najib and Rosma is not helping you. A Wednesday election is designed to kill you, in fact. So stop, think, transfer those votes to somewhere more important. Yeah? Give it to Pakatan Harapan, you're right. Yeah? So I think we're going to run that message through to them.
Second question is, Pakatan Harapan has agreed to use one logo, which is the PKR logo. What are the reasons behind this decision? Justification for using one logo?
Well, I see it in the meetings throughout. I think there's a feeling that using one logo will provide further confidence among the public that opposition parties have set aside our self-interest to fight just for the sake of the public. And I think it's not so much about people recognize one logo. People will get confused, you know. Some people say if you have different logos, people get confused. I don't think the premium for using one logo, it is about recognition of the logo or the physical side of it. What is most important is subtly and psychologically, I think we convince more and more Malaysians that if DAP, which has used its rocket for 60 years, can drop and not use it, it can convince at least some Malays that maybe it is true, it is not about DAP trying to get to power after all. Likewise, for Tun Mahathir and Bersatu to finally accept, and in fact to be fair, it is from Tun Mahathir who vociferously advocated for using one logo and using PKR logo, for him to finally stand on PKR's logo and to finally receive his watika or the approval to become candidate from Dr. Wan Azizah. There's a lot of ironies there, but I think he put everything aside, he put his ego aside, he was willing to take all the brickbats that obviously will come from UMNO Barisan Nasional. And election is never about brain, election is about heart. People do not vote with brains, people vote with hearts. If people vote with brain, we wouldn't have Rosmah there. People vote with heart, you know. You can't convince everyone the nitty-gritty of GDP, of corruption, of CPI, of GST. But you can convince people that the bunch of leaders in Pakatan Harapan really meant well and is united for one and one purpose only. And using the same logo, I think, is one of the contributing factor to that. So I think it's one of the best things that we would have done. And I hope we will see the result in this election.
Okay, I just want to add again a little bit more. First thing, of course, brand recognition is very important. At Invoke, we do scientific studies. It is obvious that Pati Bunga, Bersatu, has a flower which got some traction. We saw quite impressive growth, but still not enough. So therefore, it is also strategic. While it is to show unity, it is also important that for the time being, as Bersatu becomes a more developed party in years to come, and I'm sure they will, the brand recognition becomes better. So from a really simple visual impact, it is important that Bersatu, in all their graciousness, has agreed to let it down, and then adopt our logo. It's the same also for Amanah. Amanah has been struggling to explain their logo. It looks a bit like a flag, it looks a bit like a mountain. But in that sense, visually they have a problem. So Bersatu is better. The Pati Bunga has got some traction. So these two, I think it's good that they join us for that purposes. But really, we have to thank DAP. I think that's the biggest thing, you know. DAP, if I'm not wrong, is about 60 years old, 50, 60 years old. They're way longer than Bersatu. We are both from, way longer than PKR. We're both from PKR, right? So for them to take that step is really incredible. It just shows you that they realize, as we realize, that this is the best ever chance for us to topple Rosmah and Najib. So therefore, this logo thing is exceptionally good. It's easier to sell visually, and more importantly, like what Rafizi said, it is a sign that we are all united to face Barisan Nasional.
The next question is very interesting. It's about a hypothetical situation. And the person who asked this question is very specific in his hypothetical situation. In the event where there is a narrow win, be it like 1 or 2 seat win of Pakatan Harapan, and it turned out to be this idea of this scenario, the first one will be the delay in creating of government, potentially because the Sultan does not accept the candidacy of the Prime Minister or Mahathir. The second scenario, a coup, where Najib might call under the National Security Council Act and call it a coup and take over the government from the legitimate government of Pakatan Harapan, and a breaking down of law and order like what happened in 1969. Has Pakatan Harapan anticipated this situation, and what are the strategies in facing this hypothetical situation?
I'm going to try and answer first lah. Otherwise start up modal nanti dia habis. Okay. My view, and I'm not a top leader in Pakatan Harapan. Yeah, I'm just helping out Invoke. So I don't have intimate knowledge of what the plans are. I just give a very standard view. In this modern world, where we got WhatsApp, we got Facebook, social media controls everything. The dissemination of information to each other is much faster and uncontrollable by the government. I don't think the government is going to turn off all your telephone system, okay? In that kind of scenario, it is very, very hard. If a government loses, they must concede. It's very hard for them to arrange for a grab of power, yeah? Therefore, in my opinion, it is quite minimal that such a scenario will take place. That's the first place, yeah? The first thing. Very minimal. The experience we saw 2 years ago, if I'm not wrong, in Turkey, when Erdogan was removed from power for a period less than 24 hours, the persons who did the coup have all been arrested and some of them are going to be shot or hung. It's not so easy anymore to do this kind of thing. So, whoever is thinking about not recognizing election result, whoever is thinking about creating some problem, they better judge properly that this gambit that they play is worth it. Because when it backfires, we don't know what may happen. I think my view is the losers, if they happen to be Barisan Nasional, it is best that they just go straight to the airport and leave. If they're going to play up the message, there's going to be problems and all this kind of thing, then obviously is to drive down the turnout vote, the voters' turnout rate. So my best advice to all of you, especially the Chinese lah, if you're a little bit kiasu, okay, go buy 5-6 Maggi mee put in your house. Go out and vote, do your duty, yeah. Then after the election is over, stay home 5 o'clock, stay home. Just watch the announcement come out. Yeah? That's my best advice to you. Do not fear. This country, however basket case we may appear to be, we do not have a history of violence. The socio-economic condition in 1969 is nothing like this. The fact that we have Chinese, Indian, Malays in this hall is a show that we are all united, not on race ground. We are all united to stop the kleptocrats and to eliminate corruption and bring back democracy for Malaysia. So that's my views. I'll let Rafizi talk.
I'll just add on a bit about the coup first before I answer about the hypothetical situation if it's going to be a close result. Abang Mat Sabu actually here, so maybe you want to give a big applause to Mat Sabu. Yeah. And YB Nurul Izzah is also actually here due to speak after this. Yeah. Okay, now let's get back to the coup. You see, coup only functions when the top leader staging the coup actually has a full control of the rank and file. It works because the top brass of the military or the police, which stage a coup under the instruction, actually has a full control of the rank and file. The situation is getting less and less likely in Malaysia for the sole reason that the top brass of the military and the top brass of the police understand the rank and file of the police and the servicemen are not with Najib. My answer to the hypothetical question is also a hypothetical answer. If Najib dares to stage a coup, in what way, under what laws, in whatever pretense, what will happen is there will be a 1 million Malaysians on the street immediately after that. Then the ball is in Najib's court. Najib then has to instruct either the military or the police top brass to send the troops to disperse the crowd. The troops will go down and the troops will refuse to do anything against the crowd. If you are lucky, the troops may actually join the crowd. And I'm not saying this just to rouse the crowd. This is what has happened to every single dictator in the history of the world that tried to seize power after they have lost an election. Suharto had the same problem. Marcos had the same problem. If Najib dares to do it, then Najib will have the same problem as well. And I've been saying this to Najib, to Rosmah, to the armies and to the police top brass. Should you decide to confront the public who just requests for democracy to be respected is a treason, and you risk yourself in the line of fire. And I'm sure none of the top brass, either in military or the policemen, will take the bullet for Najib, not for Najib and Rosmah. So don't worry, I don't think that's in their playbook. Their playbook is to cheat during election so that there is no need for coup. I don't think a coup is in Najib's book at all. Which brings us to the first question, which is, what if it's going to be a very close result? Either way, it's going to be a close result. If Pakatan wins, Pakatan is going to win between 115 and 120 seats around the country. About 105 in Semenanjung, and conservatively about 15 from Sabah and Sarawak. But it will not go that far because it's a three-corner fight. And the way that the constituencies have been gerrymandered is as such that you need the right combination of Malays, Chinese and Indian voters to swing a seat. So you are looking at 115 to 120. If Najib managed to suppress the turnout and put in more postal votes, again, it's not going to be a game changer. Najib can only retain power within the same margin. It's about 115 to 120. In fact, the most likely figure is that we may actually see a hung parliament, at least as of today. So what will happen? The most important time in our modern history is the 24 hours post 5 o'clock on 9th of May. Because there will be a lot of horse trading. There will be a lot of people trying to jostle to get a position on both sides. But this is where it gets interesting. If you are Zahid Hamidi or Hishamuddin Hussein, what is going to be hypothetically your strategy given that Najib has just caused a defeat for Barisan Nasional? Are you telling me that Zahid and Hishamuddin or the very ambitious Khairi Jamaluddin will just sit down there and say, you know what, Najib and Rosmah will go till the end with you? In fact, they will take a page from Richard III and they will tell Najib and Rosmah, we have prepared a private jet for you to leave. We'll sort this out ourselves. The likelihood is, because it's going to be a hung parliament or a very close margin, Najib is incapacitated because once he is out of Putrajaya, people know he has lost it. People always adore the new king, not the dying king. And they will show him the way out. The worst case scenario, we might end up with Zahid Hamidi or Hishamuddin as prime minister. The best case scenario, we will have a Pakatan Harapan government. But either way, I've said it so many times, I don't think Najib and Rosmah will be in Putrajaya either way. If we win, if we lose, we will have to contend with a very small margin And a small margin means Najib will be outplayed by his own generals in UMNO who has had enough of carrying Najib and Rosmah because it is a very heavy burden. So don't worry, I think either way the country will be better off without Najib and Rosmah, and every day the likelihood is going to be like that. So I wouldn't worry too much. And finally, that's the reason why we have to station as many counting agents as possible in every stream for every ballot box, because when we have a complete set of counting agents, when they have completed the counting, they will submit the number and the form immediately to us. Our server in KL will churn out the number. We should be able to call an unofficial result much earlier than previous years. I think by 8 or 9 o'clock, we should be able to tell unofficially whether or not Pakatan Harapan has taken power, and the ability to know the results earlier will allow Pakatan Harapan leadership to do the right horse trading with the Sabah and Sarawak parties after the 5 o'clock. So I think we are quite prepared. We have all the system in place. Let's pray that we do not come to that. Let's pray that we have the best result, that Najib will be beaten hands down, so that we don't have to go through the stage of the 24 hours of horse trading. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the last question. I'm very sorry we can't take all questions. Masa mencuburi kita. Soalan terakhir adalah, how many postal votes are there? Could the postal votes be used against Pakatan Harapan in favor of Barisan? Postal votes.
Okay, it's quite nice that that's the last question, because postal votes remain the only unmitigated risk to this election. We can mitigate the turnout. We can encourage the public to do carpooling. We can even crowdfund to offer them some financial assistance. To the question, how many postal voters are there? Do you know what? Nobody knows in this hall. Nobody knows in the whole country. We will only know 3 days after nomination, which is more or less about 1st or 2nd May, which is about a week before the polling day. In the last general election, postal voters are only confined to the SPR election officers, and that is usually between 120 to 150 people per parliamentary constituency, and most, if it's big, it's about 150 people. So 222 constituency, 100 plus. Can anyone do the maths? That's about 30,000. I think that's not many. So it's very small. And even the last elections, postal votes results have been quite fair. We've been getting 50-50 because the civil servants, the teachers, the clerks, those people who managed the election on behalf of SPR, there was no fear, and I think we saw a quite balanced postal votes results in the last general election. Not anymore this time. SPR had announced about 1 month ago that SPR has extended the facility to do postal voting to about 1 million civil servants, on the basis that they have to be on standby to do duties on that day. They have quoted 1 million. They have given examples of firemen, nurses, health services, Jabatan Pertahanan Awam, RELA, and so on and so forth. No one knows how many of these 1 million civil servants have now been converted to become postal voters. Even worse, they might actually be double voters. Their names still remain as ordinary voters, but they are also registered as postal voters. There's nothing much I could do until 2nd May, to be frank. If anything, we have missed the boat, either Pakatan Harapan or Bersih or civil society or the country as a whole. We have missed the boat to protest adamantly to stop it. So the process is ongoing. I am aware of the fact that some heads of department just ignore the instruction and basically left it to individual civil servants should they decide to convert to postal voters. But I'm also aware, and I know of documented cases where a pro-PN heads of department actually registered their subordinates on behalf of their subordinates to become postal voters. So I don't know the risk, to be frank. And there's very few questions in the world about Malaysian election that I don't know, I don't have an answer for. Postal votes is one of them. We will know by 2nd of May, hopefully, when we get the final roll of postal voters. This is where, as much as possible, invoke, hopefully, with a team of data scientists, analytics team that we have, should be able to do some kind of mitigation by then. Number one, what we will do, we will immediately cross-check to make sure that no civil servants are double voters in the electoral roll. We will have to check all the postal voters and cross-check their IC number, whether or not they remain in ordinary electoral roll. That's number one. We will have to bring the issue to the public to highlight. Therefore, if SPR is listening, and if Najib is listening, if you dare to convert 1 million civil servants as postal voters, and you leave them as well as ordinary voters, do not think we will not find out. We will find out within 1 or 2 days, and we will tell the world, and we will tell voters, and if you dare to do it, expect a very bad backlash from the public. I think we will make sure those civil servants who have been converted without their knowledge to make sure vote double against Barisan Nasional. But a lot of it will depend in that 1 week. And I'm hoping and I'm praying that we will churn out the number and complete the analysis within 1 or 2 days of getting the voters roll. And we will notify everyone, notify the candidates. Then we will have to call those who have been converted illegally and without their knowledge, so that they do not cast their postal votes. So there's a series of things that happen. It's not as if that it is impossible to stop. It's just that time is going to be very critical because we only have about 1 week to stop it. And that's why as many volunteers is needed, because we need you to call, we need you to inform, and we need to make sure that the news goes out to as many people as possible. My gut feeling is this. Having traveled the country for the last 1 year on that bloody truck, I think change is unstoppable. I think people know we have to change. And Najib will resort to any sort of tricks in his playbook, but just like any other dictators in the world which had fallen, no amount of tricks can save Najib and Rosmah today, tomorrow, and on 9th of May. I think even with the postal votes, we might just scrape through and we will still win this general election. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to Sdr Rafizi Ramli and Sdr Wong Chen. That concludes our question and answer session, ladies and gentlemen.
Baik, untuk agenda yang seterusnya, the next speaker is known to be the giant killer. She did it not only once but twice. In 2008, she beat Shahrizad Jalil, who was the Minister of Wanita, Keluarga dan Pembangunan Masyarakat. In 2013, she did it again the next minister, Raja Nong Chik, who was the Minister of Wilayah Persekutuan dan Kesejahteraan Bandar. This time around, she won't be standing in Lembah Pantai, but she will be coming back as a new member of parliament in her new seat. Without further ado, I would like to invite YB Nurul Izzah Puteri Reformasi.
Terima kasih pimpinan dan juga pengerusi majlis. Saya pada hari ini mahu menyebut beberapa pimpinan yang penting. Tentunya Sdr Rafizi Ramli, kita berikan tepukan gemuruh untuk beliau. Kerana semua yang hadir pada malam ini akan berjuang habis-habisan untuk memastikan beliau tidak dipenjarakan selepas pilihan raya. Boleh? Yang saya hormati Presiden Amanah Tuan Haji Mat Sabu yang bersama saya tadi, kemasukan ya, gerakan besar Indian Muslim Association dalam amanah hari ini. Yang saya hormati keseluruhan pimpinan lainnya, Sdr Wong Chen, tim Invoke yang benar-benar bertungkus lumus menyatu padukan kesemua rakyat Malaysia dalam mempertahankan keputusan pilihan raya. Saudara-saudari yang saya kasihi, yang saya sanjungi di atas kesediaan untuk bersama pada malam ini. Remember, this is war, and without you, we will not have a successful march to victory. Semuanya, Assalamualaikum, salam reformasi, salam perjuangan. Saya pertama mengucapkan terima kasih. I would like to announce that we have entered the 15th of April, 2018. Yesterday marked the 19th anniversary from the conviction that was passed on to Dato Sri Anuar Ibrahim on the 14th of April 1999. And by the 4th of April 1999, Parti Keadilan Nasional came to be in Malaysia. Saya dengar tadi ada soalan, orang menanyakan, kenapakah logo keadilan dipilih? Kenapakah logo keadilan akhirnya dipilih oleh keseluruhan parti-parti dalam Pakatan Harapan? I would like to state here, after 20 years, that is one of the greatest determinant in stating how we have succeeded as an opposition, how we have succeeded as a coalition to ensure that change takes place in this country. Saudara-saudari, tak pernah ada kesediaan dalam banyak-banyak parti sebelum ini. So one of the key things when keadilan was chosen, I think the moment that captured everyone's imagination was when Tun Mahathir Mohamad was, wearing the symbol pinned by none other, Dato Yeop, Dato Sri Dato Wan Izzah Wan Ismail. So you have that defining moment, and it is really important kerana ia menandakan bila kita dah bergerak 20 tahun ke depan, harus ada kesinambungan, harus ada penyatuan, harus ada pakatan pembangkang yang benar-benar mendengar suara rakyat. That this is not about bickering, this is not about small time issues, this is about coming together, because it is possibly the only chance we have to win these elections. And I felt that was the symbol of the party. Kita bukan soal siapa yang nak menjadi Perdana Menteri ataupun timbalan Perdana Menteri. Dan ramai yang hadir pada malam ini is because you believe in the clear-cut agenda and vision of a Malaysia that unites all of us. Not why you support who will become Prime Minister or Deputy Prime Minister. And that's why this struggle is worth fighting for. Saudara-saudari, sebelumnya dalam pilihan raya lepas, kita ada semua tim daripada Tindak Malaysia. Kita ada tim Saya Anak Bangsa Malaysia, Saudara Haris ada di sini. Kita ada banyak tim yang digerakkan oleh sukarelawan. Dan akhirnya bagi kita menjelang pilihan raya yang akan datang, tanggungjawab, the burden on Invoke on all of you is definitely very heavy. Kita mungkin dapat menjadi calon Abang Mak Sabu, semuanya dapat ditampilkan sebagai calon, tapi tidak ada cara lain untuk kita menghalang kemarahan, penipuan dan manipulasi dalam pilihan raya kalau kita tidak punyai sukarelawan. One of the main reasons why we lost in the seats of Sabah in the last state elections was because most of our polling centres were empty. Ada yang dibayar, ada yang lari malam sebelumnya, ada yang lari pada pagi tersebut. Akhirnya wakil-wakil Barisan Nasional yang mengira semua kiraan di tempat pengundian masing-masing. Dalam pilihan raya negeri Sarawak juga baru kita tahu. Imagine at that moment, kita selalunya kira dan boleh kira semula di tempat pengumpulan undi di sekolah terbabit. At the last moment, SPR suddenly decided, no, you cannot count at that particular polling stream. You have to bring all the voting slips, whatever has been counted. If you want a recount, you can only do so at the main polling centre. And by that moment, it was really almost impossible to salvage the marginally won seats in targeted Sarawak Dun. So for me, sekarang ini, it was stated earlier, we started last elections with 500,000+ postal votes. Overseas voters, a small portion. Policemen and their wives, a huge portion. Armies and their wives, similarly. And then we had the Select Committee. Prime Minister created in Parliament. Select Committee clearly stated the findings and recommendations. Kita hanya boleh terima undi pos yang datang daripada tentera isteri dan juga polis bersama isteri. Tidak ada orang lain. Di bawah pengurusi SPR sekarang, yang 20 tahun pembangkang semakin lebih baik, tapi pengurusi SPR sekarang paling teruk dalam sejarah Malaysia. The worst of the worst. The worst of the lot. The former private secretary of Anuar Musa, UMNO Ketereh Member of Parliament. This guy not only went against the recommendations of the Parliamentary Select Committee, registered additionally 9 lagi kategori ditambah di bawah undi pos. 9 more categories added on. Bekerja di hospital dimasukkan. Termasuk dengan kaki tangan penjara masuk juga dalam senarai. Saudara-saudari, we went to prison. We asked them, do you want to be a postal voter or do you want to come out to cast their votes? I am telling you, 90% answered, we are voters, we want change, and we do not want to be used as postal voters by this government of the day. Jangan tanya yang di atas. Di peringkat JPRP, keadilan, Jabatan Pilihan Raya, kita dapati ramai anggota biasa. Mereka mahu mengundi sebagai rakyat. Dan akhirnya, after our pressure, after our attack, I call it the modus operandi of Rafizi. Attack first, and then get the questions and answers later. Dan sudah tentu, it works. You know why? Because in this country, there's no openness, there's no transparency. Parliament is a mere rubber stamp. What choice do we have? You elected us to ask the tough questions. You elected us to make sure the government is accountable. So we whack, because this government has no right to be there, to be allowed to govern and steal our coffers. Jadi bila kita serang, saudara-saudari, 3 hari lepas ada sesi khas. Special session diberikan kepada Pakatan Harapan. Surprise, surprise, SPR disclose to us. Ternyata daripada dapatan pegawai SPR, hanya 9,000 sahaja kaki tangan tambahan yang mahu menjadi pengundi pos. Yang lain tak mahu. Yang lain tak mahu, saudara-saudari. Can you imagine, from last elections until today, only 9,000 of them were willing to be used as pawns as postal votes. And if we do not watch, if we are not careful, by the time elections are called, 9,000 ini boleh saja ditambah menjadi puluhan ribu. Kecuali kalau kita berani menyuarakan, kalau kita berani mengkritik, kalau kita berani menjaga di garis batas perbatasan perjuangan. You must remember, everyone's voice counts. When you are there, people always say, does it make a difference? Dato' Sri Anuar masuk menjaga lagi. Dah lebih kurang 11 tahun dah. Dulu anak-anak pergi menjaga. Sekarang cucu pergi menjaga. Ada hasil ke? Don't you have regrets? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, all these tiny miracles, the fact that all of you are here, the fact that I was asked by the President of Amanah to gift him this keadilan symbol for him to wear proudly on his shirt is a testament that we made it. Rakyat tidak mencuri, rakyat tidak menipu, rakyat tidak memanipulasi untuk mendapatkan kemenangan. There is honor in doing what we do. There is honor in fighting those who utilize dishonorable means to get the outcome that they want. And because of that, hari ini, saya mahu menyatakan sikap dan sifat optimism dan semangat untuk mengatakan kita hari ini, kita boleh menceritakan kepada anak-anak dan keluarga kita. I can clearly state to Safia and Harith, my two kids, that we have done our utmost to save this beloved country from those who are undeserving to lead it. And because of that, I'm telling you, we have to make sure we do our best. This general elections is either making it or perhaps missing it. But I am confident. Selagi Dato' Sri Najib Razak mendapat kurang daripada 120 kerusi, believe me, we are in play. They know that. They know that. Atas dasar itulah, selagi kita boleh pastikan, it is not us yang kena bertungkus lumus. Mereka yang takut kerana kalau kalah, kalau mereka tak mampu untuk mengawal kerajaan sepenuhnya, they are basically looking at a couple of hours before imprisonment sets in. Yeah. Now, I wanted to also tell all of you as a main point, kalau sesiapa yang tertipu, pemantau nak datang ke Malaysia, saudara-saudari, kali ini you are the observers. You are going to be the ones that can monitor the elections and the outcome, and you have to be the ones that check everyone's status on the election day. Kita ada beberapa aplikasi di bawah keadilan, di bawah harapan. We are utilizing Spera Chula. But it is really up to you to download it to make sure that you know where you are going to be voting and where everyone else is going to be casting that choice. You miss that mark. The two groups that will be going out in droves to vote, the first are UMNO members. Mereka akan tahu nak mengundi di mana. They will make it and they will be there. Kedua, the past members. You know, like it or not, we have to be clear-cut. There's only two choices. Time and tide waits for no non-reformists. It's either keadilan or the kleptocrats. So you have to be clear in making sure this is a narrative that's embraced by everybody. Maka saudara-saudari yang saya muliakan, for tonight, I would just like to remind all of you, after you've finished with your sumptuous dinner, I think there's some mushroom soup that I didn't get a chance to eat. I would like you to please continue this journey until the 9th of May. Now, I went to Malacca yesterday, and in Rim, I can sense the winds of change is blowing very, very clearly in our favor. Dia kalau bukan kawasan Felda, tak payah tepuk lagi. Today, saya pergi ke Jengka, Pahang. I mean, you know, Felda ni usually is the place where I get kicked out a lot. Attempts at trying to either harm me physically or otherwise, you know, will take place. But today, surprisingly, 90% Felda Jengka came out to take pictures with me. Yeah. Of course, you know, usually in keadilan you will say, kena periksa daftar pemilih, kena make sure there are voters. We have to be careful, but these are positive indications. Dan di lembah pantai, kawasan yang saya tak boleh masuk dulu, di Sri Pahang dan juga di Rumah Mara, kedua-duanya berkibar cantik bendera keadilan dengan megah, dengan berani, dengan penuh bersemangat. Ladies and gentlemen, I have my friends here tonight. A shout out to Shahida and Nadia, who were with me when my father was first incarcerated and still with me 20 years on. I want to tell all of you, in life you can remember, you can appreciate many things, but this is one moment when you unite in the name of justice, when you unite in the name of truth. No one can take that away from you. And atas dasar itu, saudara-saudari, this is not going to be easy. Segala yang kita mahukan dalam hidup is not necessarily what we will get. But I want us to be focused. I want us to understand success requires sacrifice. Success requires the right temperament. Our enemy is the BN. We have to unite as the rakyat, regardless of our partisan stripes, to make sure we are the ones who can truly make Malaysia great again. Sekian daripada saya. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Please join me in basically repeating the rallying symbol that started back in 1998. The reason why I joined this movement, the reason why Rafizi, you know, at the age of, I don't know how old you were then, but in London, basically fought against a group of UMNO hooligans. It started back in the day and will continue until the day we realize reforms in this beautiful Malaysia. Reformasi! 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 Thank you.
Terima kasih kita ucapkan kepada mantan Ahli Parlimen Lembah Pantai, Nurul Izzah Anuar. Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, jam sudah menunjukkan 10.10 malam. Kita baru nak warm up sebenarnya. Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, seterusnya saya ingin menjemput dan mempersilakan Presiden Parti Amanah Negara yang berbahagia Mohamad Sabu, Abang Mat kita. Dipersilakan. Abang Mat dipakai pin keadilan hari ini.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera kepada semua yang hadir. Yang berhormat Sdr Rafizi Ramli, Nurul Izzah, Anuar Naib Presiden, sahabat saya, Abu kita daripada Aris, seluruh pimpinan dan petugas-petugas Invok, para hadirin, saudara-saudari yang dihormati sekalian. Saya terlibat dalam pilihan raya sejak kita kera undi pakai di kotak rokok. You open the cigarette box, dalam tu warna putih, so kita kira undi pakai kotak rokok itu. Dan culaan-culaan semua tak ada pada waktu itu. Ini election 1978, 1982, 1986. Kemudian tahun 90 mula kita guna komputer. Orang kampung kata election kali ini nama kita ada dalam televisyen. Itu mula computer system 1990. Kemudian penggunaan komputer ini mulalah berleluasa. Kemudian datang tahun 2000 ke atas, barulah ada sistem kajian, research. Tempat ini boleh menang ke tak boleh menang ke, ada badan-badan seperti itu. Kemudian selepas pilihan raya 2004, 2008 makin sophisticated, dan sekarang ada berbagai-bagai badan research, dan di antaranya termasuklah yang kita berhimpun pada malam ini, iaitu Invok. Pada saya, pasukan ini perlu, sebab kita mesti bekerja dengan berstrategi. Kadang-kadang orang kata, apa perlu badan macam Invok ini? Kita pergi bertemu rakyat, kita beritahu segala isu, they will support us. Sebenarnya badan-badan research macam Invok ini cukup perlu, cukup penting, sebab dia beritahu kepada kita, misalnya sokongan Melayu perlu tingkat berapa persen untuk kita capai kemenangan. Memanglah Invok memberi agakkan judge, tetapi kitalah kena turun membuat kerja setelah kita tahu apa yang dibuat kajian oleh researcher. Sebab itulah, walaupun saya terlibat dalam politik konservatif yang lama, tapi saya amat menyokong badan-badan seperti Invok ini yang banyak memberi maklumat kepada saya untuk bergerak sama ada individu ataupun dalam bentuk kumpulan. Dan sekarang Invok telah membuat kerja, dan setiap kali mesyuarat ataupun hampir setiap kali mesyuarat badan tertinggi Pakatan Harapan Majlis Presiden, akan ada laporan daripada Invok. Laporan itu kita ambil sebagai pedoman untuk kita merancang kerja-kerja untuk kita buat, di mana kelemahan, di mana kekuatan, di mana strength kita untuk kita guna, di mana weakness yang perlu kita perbaiki. Dengan adanya badan panduan seperti ini, saya yakin penuh pilihan raya 9 hari bulan nanti, Pakatan Harapan ambil alih pentadbiran Putrajaya. Sekarang kita lihat pilihan raya akan datang, bukan parti politik melawan Barisan Nasional, tapi rakyat lawan Barisan Nasional. Cuba tuan-tuan lihat. Kita dulu kita kritik Tun Mahathir, dia bukan perfect. Tapi kita lihat Tun berani. Misalnya bila Tengku Razali lawan dia dalam UMNO kalah. Kemudian Tengku Razali tubuh parti Semangat 46. Dibenarkan parti 46 dan bertanding dalam pilihan raya secara demokrasi, walaupun demokrasi tidak sempurna. Artinya dia membenarkan zaman Tun Mahathir, parti politik ditubuh untuk lawan dia, dia izin diluluskan. Kemudian datang peristiwa pemecatan Dato' Sri Anuar Ibrahim pada tahun 98. All the youngsters keluar ke jalan raya, reformasi, reformasi. Anak muda, pelajar universiti. Kemudian mereka menubuhkan parti keadilan. Tun Mahathir kata, silakan, dia lulus. Walaupun dia tahu parti itu nak lawan dia. Tapi sekarang kita mempunyai Perdana Menteri yang paling pengecut dalam dunia, Najib Tun Razak. Kawat, penakut, bacot. Bolehkah dia haramkan sebuah parti satu hari sebelum parlimen dibubarkan? Ini penakut dan bacot. Sepatutnya luluslah parti itu, let fight dalam pilihan raya. Dia haramkan. Kemudian kita nak daftar parti, simbol tiga segi Pakatan Harapan, tak lulus. Apa sebab? Tak beritahu. Dengan harapan pembangkang akan pecah. Tetapi hadirin sekalian, kita telah berjanji setia. Keikhlasan kita ialah untuk menumbangkan kerajaan Najib dan Barisan Nasional. Maka dalam mesyuarat Majlis Presiden ikrar dibuat. Datuk Seri Wan Azizah yang amat berhormat Lim Guan Eng dan saya Presiden Amanah, kami mengatakan walaupun parti Bersatu diharamkan, tak ada parti, 52 kursi yang diputuskan untuk Bersatu bertanding tetap calon-calon daripada Bersatu. Ini janji setia. Sepatutnya kita seronok bila Bersatu kena haram. Amanah kata, ye, kami boleh dapat lebih. Atau keadilan kata, pada muka nak tubuh parti sangat. No, kita tidak bersikap begitu. Kita tetap mengatakan perahu sama di air, pengayuh sama di tangan. Tak ada dayung, dengan jari ku kayuh jua. Kemudian simbol Bersatu tak boleh pakai. Simbol Pakatan Harapan tak diluluskan. Nak pakai simbol Bersatu tak boleh. Simbol DAP payah orang Melayu di kampung. Ini parti chauvinis, dilabelkan begitu. Simbol Amanah baru. Barangkali banyak lagi kampung-kampung tak kenal. Maka keempat parti bersetuju menggunakan simbol keadilan. Mula-mula pengurusi SPR oak. Boleh tak boleh? Boleh tak boleh? Akhirnya dia kata boleh jikalau parti keadilan bersetuju untuk gunakan simbol mereka. Artinya kali ini rakyat lawan Barisan Nasional. Hadirin sekalian, Sebab itulah mereka sekarang ini mencari jalan nak buat macam mana lagi. Ya, mereka pindah kawasan pilihan raya. Sabak Bernam pengundi 40,000. Damansara 180,000. Artinya satu pengundi di Sabak Bernam equivalent dengan 4 pengundi Damansara. Cara mudahnya, satu undi Melayu sama dengan 4 undi Cina. Padan muka kamu. Oleh itu mereka main isu perkauman. Mereka harap popular vote 40%, BN sudah boleh memerintah. Mereka lupa. Sekarang bukan tsunami Cina, bukan tsunami India, tsunami rakyat Malaysia. MCA gerakan yang tak membela kaum mereka, pilihan raya kali ini rakyat terutama kaum Tionghoa akan wipe out MCA dan gerakan. They're going to finish election ini. MCA gerakan out you go kali ini. Mana boleh kamu tak lawan di parlimen bila Sabak Bernam 40,000 satu parlimen, Damansara 180,000. Kenapa pemimpin MCA tak bersuara? Artinya mereka MCA bila sebut UMNO menggeletar. Bagi kita bukan soal Cina, bukan soal Melayu, bukan soal India. Ketidakadilan, Pakatan Harapan akan lawan habis-habisan. Hadirin sekalian, tadi anak-anak muda turun ke jalan raya. Saya hadir berucap 2 kali di jalan raya tadi. Antaranya mereka bawa kapal layar Jolo. Inilah berbeza. Kita kritik dulu zaman Tun Mahathir projek-projek mega. Kita kritik KLIA, kita kritik Proton Saga, kita kritik Putrajaya. Tapi projek itu ada, exist. Tapi zaman Najib, orang kampung tak faham. 1NDB, orang kampung tak faham. Rakyat kena bayar hutang 42 bilion, hutang, projek dia mana? Tak nampak. Yang nampak Subang Rosmah sikit, cincin Rosmah, batu permata 110 juta, rambut tiap-tiap minggu dia buat rice cooker terbalik, sekurang-kurang sebulan dia buat 5-6 kali. Tapi kenapa kena bayar hutang 42 bilion? Inilah orang Kelantan kata, zaman Najib ni pembangunan dia buat tak kelih di mata, tak dengar di telinga. Kenapa? Dia beli barang-barang kondo di Amerika, di England. Kapal kena tangkap tak mengaku. Bila Amerika nak ambil, dia kata tak boleh, itu hakku. Artinya Jolo terpaksa mengaku itu hak dia. 9 hari bulan kita ambil alih Putrajaya. Seminggu lepas itu kita akan arahkan polis tangkap Jolo. Tangkap MO1. Dan tangkap yang rice cooker selalu duduk atas kepala. 42 bilion. Bukan senang, hadirin sekalian, kita kena bayar hutang. Dan usaha akan dibuat. Rafizi Ramli akan tunjuk di mana wang itu ada. Kita akan rampas dan bawa balik kepada rakyat Malaysia. Bukan lama. 9 hari bulan, berapa hari lagi? Saya yakin insya-Allah 3 minggu lagi. Kalau sambutan begini, tuan-tuan semua bekerja kuat. Tolong kempen di luar bandar, balik kempen di luar bandar. Kita boleh mengambil alih pentadbiran Putrajaya kali ini. Selamat berjaya rakyat lawan kerajaan Barisan Nasional kali ini. Dan kita akan menang kali ini di bawah Pakatan Harapan, yaitu rakyat lawan Barisan Nasional. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih kepada Terima kasih kepada Abang Mak Sabu kita. Sebab tu tadi saya cakap kita baru warm up. Sebab mana nak dengar rice cooker kan? Abang Mak saja boleh sebut rice cooker. Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan sekalian, selain daripada tetamu-tetamu yang hadir pada malam ini, majlis makan malam kita juga dipancarkan secara Facebook Live di page Rafizi Ramli. As we speak, there are 4,000 live views. So I need your help. For those of you who have smartphone, if you have like page YB Rafizi, please share the page, please share the video so that we can send the message not just in this hall but throughout the country. So kalau ada smartphone boleh bawa keluar, tolong share. As of now kita ada 4,000 views. We hope at least to reach 10,000 view malam ini untuk sebarkan maklumat ini kepada semua tetamu-tetamu. Baik, 10.25, we have prepared a final video before we proceed with the final agenda. Our next video is called Battle for Putrajaya. Please enjoy.
these 30 candidates and the next 30 candidates and the next 30 candidates who come forward and show to Malaysians they had not taken or abused their public position for themselves. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan sekalian, with the spirit battle for Putrajaya, saya ingin menjemput penceramah terakhir kita pada malam ini yang saya anggap a truly wakil rakyat. Seorang YB bukan yang berhormat tetapi yang berjuang, yang berkhidmat, yang berkorban. Daripada kiri hingga ke kanan, tepukan gemuruh untuk YB Rafizi Ramli.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat malam. Tacha Wang Sang Hao. Wanakam. Very good evening. Saudara Effendi, Saudara Midi, Tuan Haji Mat Sabu, Saudari Izzah, sahabat-sahabat, all friends. This is going to be the last fundraising dinner that I have to organize. So don't worry, we won't be asking money from you anymore after this. When we set out about 2 years ago, I worked out a budget and I calculated we needed 9 million ringgit for the period of 18 months in order to win this general election. Because we needed to win all the 40 plus marginal seats. I went to see some friends. They said 9 million is too cheap. You know, I'm not spend 2-3 million per constituency. You guys must be joking, so I'll help you with the money straight away. The money never came. And along the way, even before getting the money, I've asked some of my former interns, some young Malaysians from the top universities in the world, who actually believe we can do something to change this country. They quit their job and join Invoke. By the time I realized that we won't be getting any money, I had about 20 on my payroll. So I had to advance my money. And then by the November of 2016, I had to go to the public, and that was our first fundraising dinner, which was a sold out. Between then and now, 18 months later, the Malaysian public has given about 8 million ringgit to Invoke. And that's why we lasted this long. We survived, as Wong Chen said, we survived the anxiety of trying to pay my 100 plus staff every month. And I can tell my staff, who's all over the place tonight, you have your payday about 2 weeks from now. And the best thing is, 2 weeks after, on 9th of May, you can tell all your friends that your 2 years of national service has come to fruition, because we would have kicked Najib out of Putrajaya by then. So I want to start. It's not going to be too long, because we have to start by about 11. I have to leave for Perak. I have about 8 ceramah tomorrow in Perak with this voice. I want to start by thank you very much, every single Malaysian, those who are in this hall, and especially those who are outside, who give 10 ringgit, 20 ringgit, 50 ringgit, 100,000, 50,000. I am very proud being a Malaysian because all of you. Because you show, you prove to the world that we can actually change. You prove to the world that Malaysians can collectively come together, whether they have 10 ringgit or 20 ringgit. And I still have 2 Malaysians, one by the name of Safia and one by the name of Othman, who give 5 ringgit a week for the last 1 year. Every week I see this one man, Othman, 5 ringgit, and Safia, 5 ringgit, Whoever you are, wherever you are, thank you to people like this. Thank you, all of you. We have indeed proven a point. Malaysians can come together collectively to tell the elites of our society, to tell the cronies, to tell the vested interests that Malaysians want politicians who fight for the public and who will go to the public to get fundraising, who will not depend on cronies and special vested interests, whom once these politicians go to Putrajaya, then they will serve the interest of the public and not the interest of the cronies. Thank you very much again. But since this is the last one, so there'll be one last appeal, of course. We have a general election in about 3 weeks now. Every single of your ringgit will actually help to print posters, to print campaign materials, to pay for pacha, to pay for phone bills. So we have our Invoke volunteers and Invoke staff going all over from the right to the left. Please give as generously as possible. I know you don't have 2.6 billion to give, but you may have 260 ringgit. So please give, and let's make it the best investments that you have ever made for this country when we kick Najib and Rosmah on 9th of May. I'm oddly dressed today because I usually wear jeans and I wear t-shirts because we are in the business of selling t-shirts. For the last 1 year, we sold about 1 million ringgit worth of t-shirts. The last 1 month has been the worst period of campaigning. 7 days a week, 18 hours a day, more often than not, at least 6 ceramah. During the weekend, 10 to 11 ceramah. So I've put on so much weight. And I don't think I will sell more tickets if I put on my jeans. So I learned from Wong Chen, to hide your stomach, you put on the jacket on. Anywhere I go, as Dato Yeop mentioned, I mean, there's a lot of sympathy. I mean, and I thank the public for the sympathy. People usually express sympathy because, you know, I may be going to jail. Some friends from UMNO and PAS often ridicule me for where I am today. Because they say, after all you've been in your life, for all your career, for all your educational background, look at you today. This is what you will become. You've lost your job. You don't have a job. You are a former MP who cannot contest for about 9 years. And then you are unemployed now. And in all probability, all these people kept telling me, in all probability, I will go to jail on 1st of June. Because 1st of June is my final appeal. And that's for the OSA case. If I lose that appeal, that's 1.5 years prison. So some friends in UMNO and PAS often express so-called dishonest sympathy to me, that this is what have become of you after all the promise of life that you had. Well, I'm perturbed. I'm not disturbed at all, because the way I see it, I'm not that much different from Najib. Najib may not realize it, but I do. I am unemployed, a former MP. Najib is unemployed as well. Parliament has been dissolved. He doesn't have a job now. He goes around claiming to be a prime minister, dishing out money, but in reality, he is unemployed just like me. He is trying to find a new job as well. And this is the part which I think Najib forgets. If I have all the risk to go to prison, if I may become a prisoner after this, Najib doesn't realize if he loses, he is also a prisoner after this. He will take over my cell, I think. So Najib and me we are not different. Both of us do not have a job now. Both of us are unemployed. Both of us may be a future prisoner after this. But looking at the support from left to right, from Johor to Perlis, I was in Terengganu and Kuantan last night, looking at the support from the ground, I think the odds is against him. I think he will be the one who go to prison, not me. I don't want to go into too much details about the long 18 months of preparing for this big 9th of May. All of you who are here have followed what Invoke tried to do for the last 18 months. We've managed to get 73 politicians and candidates to declare their assets. And I think even just now, Abang Mat Sabu came to me and said, is there going to be the next round of asset declaration? If there is one thing of my proudest moments with Invoke, is making sure that after this, our MPs will have no choice but to publicly declare their assets year after year after year. It has become a culture. I can tell you, as of tonight, Invoke has 31,000 volunteers all over the country. At the rate things are going, by the time we go to the ballot box on 9th of May, I am sure we will exceed the 40,000 volunteers that we set out to recruit when we started Invoke 18 months ago. We will have 40,000 volunteers to help Pakatan Harapan in this election. I've made appeal after appeal that we need as many pacha as possible. I can inform you tonight that as of tonight, we have allocated more than 12,000 pachas to all the marginal seats around the country. We are only short 8,000 more. If Najib thinks that he can win this election through cheating, he will have to contend and face the army of pacha volunteers whom we have trained for the last 18 months. And I can tell Najib, it is not as easy as he thinks. And most importantly is this. I can also update everyone that we have carried out surveys after surveys, data analytics after data analytics. We have informed you every month, things are looking much, much better today than when we started out about a year ago. At the rate things are going, I have every confidence we will win Putrajaya. We have approached this election as if we are running a professional project. We have audited every single process. We have identified every risk at every step of the process. We have mitigated the risk for every process. And that's why I've run election for PKR and for Pakatan for the last 9 to 10 years. I think whatever happens on 9th of May, I can gladly say that this is the best preparation that opposition has had in all the years so far. So I would like to remind Najib, we plan, God also plans, and God's plan is always better. So he can plan whatever. He can cheat, he can try to give bribery, he can tabur the dark. But do you notice one thing? Every time he tries to do that, there will be a big hoo-ha and a backfire. Yesterday he was trying to give petrol card to cabbies. Instead of getting the thanks, He got cursed by the cabbies. In fact, some cabbies had to go to hospital because there was a stampede. Everything that he wanted to do, it backfired. Even when he announced BN's manifesto, he couldn't get his lieutenants at the back to smile. And of all the photos that the world had to capture, it is the photo of Zahid, Hishamuddin, and Ku Adnan looking very gloomy, knowing that this is their last term in office. So no matter what they do, it just doesn't work. The latest number is very encouraging. Nothing more encouraging than Kelantan and Terengganu. And I haven't even told this to Mak Sabu. I've always maintained to Pakatan in Kelantan and Terengganu, there is a lost cause. Forget it. Three-corner fights in Kelantan and Terengganu, where BN and PAS had traditionally been the strongest party, and Pakatan had always been a third party, a three-corner fight when Pakatan is a third party in Kelantan and Terengganu, is a hopeless fight. Husam was not too happy with me. A lot of people in Kelantan not too happy. I've predicted before, based on the numbers, that BN will sweep clean all the parliamentary seats in Kelantan and Terengganu. That's 15 in Kelantan and 8 in Terengganu, 23 in the back. I've said that. The reason being is, as of 6 months ago, BN support was about 45% in Terengganu and Kelantan among the Malays. PAS support was about 28 to 30% in Kelantan and Terengganu among the Malays. And Pakatan was at the third place, low 20s, 22, 23. We've completed the survey for Kelantan and Terengganu this week, and the number was a pleasant surprise. I come from Terengganu. I've always given up. You know, I think Terengganu will take so long before the wind of change from the West Coast comes to Terengganu. But I was very surprised because the level of support for UMNO among the Malays in Terengganu actually puts Terengganu in the same bag with Johor and Perak and Negeri Sembilan and Melaka. In Johor, when we ask people, if there is an election tomorrow, which party are you going to vote? Consistently, for the last few months, only 35% of Malays say they will vote for Pakatan. In Negeri Sembilan, in Melaka, and in Perak, only 39% say they will vote for Pakatan. For UMNO. In Terengganu, the number for UMNO is even lower than in Perak and in Negeri Sembilan and in Melaka. Only 37.5% of Malays in Terengganu say that they will vote for BN. The rest are split between Pakatan and PAS, which means that the winds of change, the realignment of Malay votes are taking place, are not just in the West Coast, is already also happening in Terengganu, and worse for PAS and UMNO are in Kelantan. In Kelantan, the support for UMNO is the lowest in the whole Semenanjung. I thought the support was lowest in Selangor. It is actually the lowest in Kelantan, only at about 25.8%. In Kelantan as well, and for those in Kelantan watching, in Kelantan as well, UMNO and PAS are neck and neck at between 25-ish. That means that there's about 50% of votes are up for grab for Pakatan, even if we cannot win the whole seats in Kelantan and Terengganu, we will begin to pick up a few seats in Kelantan, Terengganu, which traditionally have been a stronghold for UMNO and PAS. Which means what? Malays know what's happening. I know a lot of people from the right of the hall to the left of the hall always ask me, everything is in futility, they say. Because we've seen this before. Every general election, we will see a huge turnout at opposition rallies. We see hundreds of people at opposition fundraising. But when it comes to voting, Malays will continue to give the vote to UMNO. That's what they say. And people always tell me, YB, I think you're just doing, wasting your time, going on your truck, masuk kampung, talking to these people, because they will not vote for us because they fear the AP. There's one cardinal rule of being a government, even if you are corrupt. And I'm telling this also not just to Najib, I'm also telling this to Pakatan leadership, so that when you become government, you remember this one cardinal rule. Even if you're corrupt, you can mess up so many things. You can cause so many troubles. You can have your fights at the top, but never, never, ever destroy the rice bowls of the common people. Don't make it difficult for them. Don't make it hard for them. Life is already hard as it is, even without Najib and Usman. For those people who believe that Malays will never change, remember this. Fence-sitters, common people, whether they are Malays, Chinese or Indian, they just want to live their life on their own because they are small people. Big issues of corruption, governance, how this country is being run, is beyond them, because their preoccupation is how to pay the next bill. Is how to get food on the table. Their preoccupation is to pay minyak kereta, toll, and so on and so forth. So you can't blame them. That's why in the previous elections, the financial mismanagement under Barisan Nasional had not hit the rice bowls of the common public, the full-blown, the way that Najib had done. In 2013's general election, although one MDB has started, the FBLive financial irregularities were happening behind our back. But there was no GST yet. Najib did not have to cut allocations to schools, to hospitals, to universities. GST was not there. Therefore, the common public actually think whatever Pakatan Rakyat and Barisan Nasional were arguing about, those are among the politicians and the elites. They've got no stake in it. And you can't blame them. But things are different now. If you notice, for 6 or 7 years, Najib had denied that cost of living is an issue. Najib refused to accept that prices have gone up so much higher than 3 or 4 years ago. Every time we talk about prices, Najib will quote the baseline inflation, the CPI announced by Bank Negara. Well, the reality is different. You and I know prices have gone up so much. Even the middle class in Kuala Lumpur could feel it, let alone the 90% of the workforce who don't pay tax because their salary is too low. Of course they feel the pinch. You know, when we ask ministers, what are you going to do about prices? They give the dumbest answers. And I like to quote one about the price for the fish. I don't know whether you've heard this before. It's special to me because the remarks were made by an MP from my kampung, the Minister for Agriculture and Agro-Industry, Shah. Prices for fish have been going up like hell. In some areas in this country, only the rich can actually have fish on their table. So people have been asking, what are we going to do to bring down the prices for fish? Because common sense is quite straightforward. If we lack the supply for the fishers, then we must see how to get more large trawlers, deep sea fishermen out to the sea. Now, but this is what the minister said. Lo and behold, about 2 months ago, he made a big announcement in a big function in Kemaman, my hometown. And he said, don't worry people, when the East Coast Railway link is completed, the fish prices will go down. I'm not as smart as Ahmad Maslan, so I took some time to understand how. And he explained further. He said, a lot of the fish supplies actually come on board from the fish jetty in Tok Bali. He said, when we have this 55 billion East Coast Railway link, then the logistic network to deliver this fish to all over the country will be so good that the transportation cost will go down, and that's how we will lower our fish price. And I felt like yelling. I said, you know, if you had told us that you're going to borrow 55 billion from the Chinese for the fish, I'll be very pissed off. I mean, I thought all along that the railway link was meant for the poor East Coast people. It was not even for us, it was for the fishers, according to Najib. So you can understand why people are angry. The cabbies are asking, when are you going to remove the lopsided permit system that allows the cab companies to continue to collect rent from them? It's rent seeking. They have to pay to these companies every day. And if they don't pay, that's it. They accumulate debts, and many of them go to Alung. They ask for a very simple thing. What are you going to do to level the playing field between the e-hailing, the Grab car, and the cab? And Najib's answer is, I give you a petrol card. I don't know whether I've not met any cabbies from yesterday's event, but I don't even know whether there's money in that card. For all you know, it's just a card. That's why I told people who are concerned with the amount of dada and money that Najib is throwing to the public, because people feel that Malays will be swayed once again. They will take this and they will vote for UMNO again. And I said, don't underestimate the public, because they could tell the difference. Before 2013, Najib didn't just promise. Najib actually gave this money beforehand. When Najib wanted to get Felda votes, Najib listed FGV, and then 6 months before election, Najib actually distributed 15,000 ringgit for each Felda settlers family. That's about 2 billion. He gave money. So when these people get 15,000 ringgit each, 6 months before election, of course they think Rosmah is the prettiest girl in town. You can't blame them. What happened now? Najib is not giving the money now. Najib told the Felda settlers, if you vote for us, and will be returned to government, then we'll give you 5,000. Felda settlers are not stupid. They say, give me the money first. I want to see the money first. Likewise, Najib also promised civil servants. Najib said that, vote us and we will increase your pay. Najib said the same thing about BRIM. Vote us and then we will increase BRIM in June and in August. You know what the public is saying? Show me the money first. Because they know the government does not have the money. They know that even if Najib wins, and even if Najib honors the very few promises he made today, that will be at the great financial expense of the public. The poor will have to pay, the rich will have to pay, Malay, Chinese, Indian, every single one will pay. That's why anywhere I go, more and more people come and say, don't worry, they give us money, we'll take money. In fact, I tell them, if they give you money, please ask for a car, ask for something better. Get something a lot better. They know now, because Malaysians are not stupid. And I'm sure this time around, for the first time in our history, we will see Malays, Chinese, Indian, Iban, Kadazan, the urban, the rural, the poor, the young, male, female. It is a battle between every single concerned Malaysians against Najib and Rosmah. It is not about a battle between parties. It is not a battle between the race. It is us versus Najib and Rosmah in this election. Well, it's about 11 o'clock. So let me wrap up. You've heard me in ceramah for almost a year already. I've said all the jokes. I've done all the punchline. I've done everything. Most of you would have heard everything that I wanted to say. In the last 1 year, we've clocked about 1,000 hours of ceramah because we do track how many ceramah we do. We've covered about 60 marginal constituencies, more than what we set out to do. For every single state, we go and cover at least once a month. And you can tell, you can ask Dato Yeop. Dato Yeop has improved so much on his ceramah. I think a lot of us start cari makan after this. We are out of business because of him. My biggest fear is this. Now that Malaysians come together and hopefully we will change the government, my biggest fear is that you go back to what you are doing and you give all your trust to politicians blindly against. Never do that. Never do that. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. We have a chance to redraw everything, to redefine everything. We have the chance to re-educate and rebuild everything that we know about this country. We have a chance to tell Malays that you are smart and that you're not stupid, that it only takes courage, risk-taking, values and honesty, and hard working, and any Malays can be as successful as anyone else in this world. Do not believe anything that your politicians tell you that you have to depend on that. We have a chance to tell our Chinese friends that you have built this country as much as anyone else. Without you, we wouldn't be here today. We can tell every Chinese child that this is the only home they have, and they can give everything that they have for this country so that they know, because they know that they will be treated as fairly, as equally, and will be loved by everyone else because they are Malaysian, not because they are Chinese, Malay, or Indian. And we can tell the Indians poor. We can tell the Indians that because the Indians have been neglected for so long, the schools were neglected. To your normal Indian poor family, it is not a surprise if they think that it is better to drop out at Standard 6 or Form 1 and go and work out there, because there's not much prospect staying in school. We need to tell the Indian families, no more. We cannot tolerate young Indian children to drop out at school at Standard 6, at Form 1, Form 2. There needs to be a focus so that as many young Indians finish at least Form 5, as many as possible. That is the best way to tell Indians that you are as much a Malaysian as anyone else. But don't leave this to politicians. Don't leave this to politicians, because they got other interests, they got other issues, they got problems they need to inherit from Najib and Rosmah. If there is one thing that we, especially the young people who have worked for Invoke for the last 18 months, if there is one thing we wanted to prove is this: you don't have to be a politician to decide where we are going. There are ways where you can make sure that our politicians, our public officials, our civil servants hold the highest level of accountability to the real boss of this country, which is every single one of you. And for that, I hope you will continue to support. I hope you will continue to be vigilant. I hope you will continue to criticize. I hope you will continue to remind politicians that we put them there. It's the public who delivered GE 14 to Pakatan Harapan. It is not the other way around. And it is the volunteers, the common, the regular Malaysians who put 1 hour, 2 hours, who leave their job, who close their shop, and who will campaign for us for the next 1, 2, 3 weeks. It is you, all of you, who will make it happen. When that happens, I hope things will get better. I think Pakatan Harapan has reasonably good policies, reasonably good intentions, a lot better string of leaders compared to Barisan Nasional. I mean, I can't help but comment on this. I can't help but comment on Shahrizad. Because I thought that it would do her a big service to just bow graciously and retire. And I will not make fun of her anymore or of the cows. It's unfair for the cows. I thought after 2 general elections and at her age and after having achieved so much in her life, it is time to allow other people to take our place. But no, she was going around to find a seat. And worst of all the seats, now there's a rumor that she's going to Bandar Tun Razak. And I was laughing my head off because I felt like, well, tell that to the voters in Tun Razak, the kind of choice that UMNO had offered to them. You can choose. You can choose a former minister who puts cows into her condos. There's a lot of flats in Bandar Tun Razak, and you will see a lot of cows going around in Bandar Tun Razak after this. Or, before this, the option, the offer that UMNO has made to people of Bandar Tun Razak was better, a lot better. We had an aspiring candidate who, perhaps after long hours working during the day, went to have a coffee at a karaoke. I mean, surely we deserve better. Surely we deserve better, and that's why you've seen Mohamad Sabu, well tested, you've seen Izzah. I have no doubt that the kind of leadership that Pakatan offers now is obviously much better. So I'm not too concerned about that. I'm not standing. I have no interest for public roles after this. After all, I do deserve a break after the long 9 years. I've mentioned continuously to friends that I have no intention to pick up any public role in the government. And I meant it. People who know me understand I meant it, because I function best as an opposition because you need a big hitter to punch Najib. You don't need me to punch a Pakatan Harapan government. If Pakatan Harapan adheres to its manifesto, delivers its promises, all the institutions will do the job. You don't need whistleblowers. You have good judges, you have good policemen, you have good attorney general who will chase every single politician who steals cows from the public after this. I only ask for one thing. I only say this. The only role I wanted is this. You have to leave Najib and Rosmah to me. That's mine. After all the misery, after all the legal defamation suits, after all talking to a wall in Parliament, I do want to sit down with Najib and Rosmah. So, hypothetically, after the election result is announced, the leadership of Pakatan will continue and form the government, and get down to rebuilding this country, I will actually go with my truck, with slight modification, I will go and knock Najib's and Rosman's doors. Because I think if they have not left the country by then, they should realize they are not very popular. If they go out on their own, someone might knock them. So the best thing is this: I will offer them a ride in the truck because it has my big face. I don't think anyone will throw stones at it. We will make sure that they are well looked after. We will make sure that they have hundreds of bodyguards. We will pay for the rooms, for the beds, for the electricity, for the utilities. We will give them a 70-inch TV in their room. We will send them where they belong, to a room in a cell in Sungai Buloh. It is not being vindictive. I know that people say, why do you have to do that? You are being vindictive. It's not. The amount of damage and misery that Najib and Rosmah had inflicted to this country we will have to carry for generations after this. We inherit hundreds of billions of debts. We lost thousands of acres of plots of good lands. One good generation is a lost generation. It will take one generation for Pakatan Harapan to put everything back on track. In the meantime, the young generation, those in their 20s, those in their late teens, they are a lost generation. They don't have a good education. They don't have a good training. They have to put up with a very difficult life, with a very bad economic situation. It will take us a few years to turn things around. Najib and Rosmah at least owe some accountability to this lost generation. I have no vendetta against anyone. But if we were to make sure that we send a strong message to politicians after this, that you are accountable for your action, we must begin with getting that accountability from Najib and Rosmah, first and foremost, when we win this election. Of course, I also want to know about the diamonds, the rings, the everything, and we need to collect every single cent that has been siphoned out of this country, bring it back to the country, put it back in an education fund. Don't even allow politicians to touch it. Give it back in the form of education to good young Malays, Chinese, Indians, whoever who is smart, whoever who is young, whoever who is poor, and whoever who is hardworking, no matter whether you are Malays, Chinese, or Indians, they deserve an assistance from us. And we can do that if we form a big enough fund for all these kids, and that's the best thing to rebuild the country. So thank you very much. I hope to see you again somehow. We will meet in a different capacity. The good news is, this is the last time I'm asking for money from all of you. Thank you very much. I hope to see you on 9th of May. And 9th of May will be the last day that we will pay GST. No more GST. After 9th of May, no more Najib, no more Rosmah. God bless Malaysia. Thank you very much. Sese Nandri Vanakkam. Thank you.
Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan sekalian, pengumuman terakhir berkenaan kutipan jumlah derma yang diambil dari setiap meja malam ini adalah sebanyak RM168,818. On behalf of Invoke Malaysia, thank you so much for your support, for your assistance, for your kindness in rebuilding our nation. Ladies and gentlemen, please remember this date, 14 April 2018, should we win the election on the May 9, this is the date that you want to be remembered, that we were here tonight in IDCC Shah Alam. Pakatan, Pakatan, Pakatan. Assalamualaikum, selamat malam, good night.